Today I'm going to show you how the law of attraction works, how the mind is used to create things, so you can see how you're already doing it, and therefore be able to do it a whole lot more. Coming up. Hi, I'm Chris Dillard, and what we're here to do is answer those age-old questions. Who am I? And what's the meaning to life? Click subscribe if you want to jump into the deep end of the pool of self-realization, empowerment, and happiness. Now, let's take a look at the law of attraction. As you know, the law of attraction says, focus your mind on what you want, and you'll bring that into existence. Now, there's a lot of ways to practice this, and you've probably seen some instances where this has happened to you. You focused on something, you decided, I'm having this goal, and bam, it happens. Maybe it takes time and some work in order to get it accomplished, but you see it through. Or sometimes things just magically happen, like outrageous luck or incredible coincidence. And you're like, holy cow, look at that. However, there's also times when you focus on something and it doesn't happen. And maybe you're really serious about it. You put a lot of effort into it, into doing everything you're supposed to do. And no matter what, you just keep coming up with a big fat nothing. So this leaves you feeling confused. You maybe even start thinking, maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe I've been kidding myself all this time. Maybe I'm an idiot. I know I've had those feelings from time to time. Or maybe you feel confident overall and believe in your ability to manifest things, but you feel frustrated because it always seems hit and miss, or hit and miss. So that's why we're going to take a look at this today. And the reason why we want to do this is so that we can create more abundance more easily and more reliably. All right, so let's take a look at this. Just follow along. Now, everything that we demonstrate starts with a thought. Everything starts with an idea first, a picture in our mind. And as this thought travels down the path, it encounters other thoughts. These thoughts are beliefs, are concepts of limitation. They're often our self-doubts and criticisms, and they're also our fears. All these thoughts, they now diffuse that picture of having that goal. Let me give you an example. So you have a goal to own a new car. And the first thing it does, it hits a belief system that says, in order to have a car, you got to work to make enough money, you got to have good credit, and so on. And it hits all sorts of other thoughts, like the fear of not being able to make the payments, the insurance costs, the other costs. And then other considerations, like, do I want a Mazda? Do I want a Volkswagen? Which one is going to be more fun? Which one's going to be more reliable? And you get hung up with all these other thoughts. Now, these thoughts, they're not actually about you owning the car. In fact, they're really about all the reasons why you cannot own that car. And that's why you get discouraged or distracted by something else, and you abandon that goal. Now, these thoughts, they get in the way and make things so much harder. And what's worse is a lot of these thoughts are subconscious. They're running underneath the radar. And sometimes you're not aware that they're there. But if you just stick with that original thought, without any of these other thoughts interrupting it, it does come into being. Now let's take this a step further. All these other thoughts that get in the way, what if you didn't have to take them so seriously? In fact, what if they weren't even real? Now follow along with me on this. Just examine your mind. And what is that thing? This mysterious thing called the mind. Look at it closely now. Notice how you experience your mind. It's just a sound in your head. Sometimes it says nice things, a lot of the times, not so nice. There's a lot of criticism, a lot of dissatisfaction, a lot of complaining, a lot of just flat out hatred and negativity that goes on in the mind. Now, who do these thoughts, these sounds belong to? Who gave them to you? They belong to you, right? They don't belong to anybody else but you. So maybe you are the owner here. Maybe you are the boss. And maybe when your mind just starts up with all this negativity, maybe you don't have to listen to it or take it so seriously. Now, when you look at the nature of these thoughts, I mean, look at them more closely now. And can you see that every thought that you experience in your mind, it's all something from the past, isn't it? Every single thought is something that you either heard or you said to yourself, and it gets put into the mind. So really all the mind is a recording and playback machine, like, a tape deck. That's all. It records everything all day long, and then it plays it back to you, whether you want to listen to it or not. So, again, who's listening to all of this? Now examine this. See, you have these thoughts. Sometimes they're positive, sometimes they're negative. Who's the one who's observing them? Who is the one who's aware that they're there? Right? So there's a thought, and then there's you who's listening to it. And notice this you who's listening to it has no form, has no name, can't put your finger on it, but you're definitely here, right? Pay attention to this. This part of you is the owner. And this part of you is really where all the decisions are made. And so you have a choice. You can listen to the thought, or you can let go of that thought. Now I'm going to show you how to let it go. Now, one thing that you'll notice too, take a look at this. When a thought comes up, especially a thought of limitation, like an I can't, or just some sort of, beating yourself up sort of a thought. Can you see that you don't like it? You don't like having that limitation. You don't like that negativity. And you end up fighting with it. Whether you want to or not, you just end up doing it. You want to push it away. You want to escape from it. And you make a decision to complain about the complaining. And again, that's your decision. So let's get into this now. Think of a goal that you have in your life right now. Maybe it's a financial goal. Maybe it's a business goal or a project that you're working on. And there's a limitation. Maybe you just don't know how to get started on it, or you don't know what your next step is, or you just don't have a clue. And that limitation, that picture, so you have a picture now in your mind that says, I cannot, that there's something in the way. So you just examine it right now. And see, notice your mind deals only in pictures. Like if I say don't fall down, what do you get a picture of? Falling down. See, the mind doesn't process the words not or don't. It just goes right to the picture. And likewise, if I say the word Monkey. What do you get a picture of? A monkey. And now if I say, don't think of a monkey, what happens? You still get a picture of a monkey. So the mind, it only deals in pictures. And when we talk to each other, we use our language to describe a picture that we have in our mind. That's what we use to communicate to one another. So you notice that? Now, you have this picture of limitation, and you don't like it. You're like, oh, I hate this obstacle. Now, when you do this, does that make that picture go away? Or does it reinforce that picture? And notice, whose decision is it? You know, whose choice is it to say, I don't like you. I want to get rid of you. That's your decision, right? You're making that choice. So, for lack of better words, what you're doing is you're disapproving of that limitation. Can you see that? Can you see you don't like what's going on? And when you're disapproving of it, it's not changing anything. And you're doing it, right? So if you're doing it, then you just got to make a decision now. I'm going to be positive and be loving. Or I'm going to be negative, I'm just going to be hateful, and I'm going to fight with everything, and I'm going to stay stuck. Which do you prefer? Right, so I'm assuming that you're preferring to be positive, preferring the option of love. Now, if you're the one who's doing it, you're the boss here, can you make a decision to let go of disapproving of that limitation? Can you let go disapproving of it? And can you let go disapproving of it even more? And can you let go disapproving of it even more? And this is just a decision, yes or no. So just decide, can you let go disapproving of it? See, you've been doing it. You're in charge. Could you let go of disapproving of it? And a little bit more. 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 And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And notice how ridiculous it is to disapprove, to beat up on a thought, on a limitation, even if it seems real out there. See, never mind what seems so real out there. Right now, we're here in this moment. And right now, there isn't a problem. If there was, you'd have to stop this video and deal with it. So the only problem right now in this moment is just only in your mind. And can you let go of disapproving of that story, that limitation? And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And even more. And even more. Now notice how you feel. Notice if you feel lighter. That's all we're looking for. Just a lighter feeling. Now, let's take it a step further. Could you give that thought, that picture, that picture of limitation, could you give it some love and approval? Or at least could you just look at it and say yes to it? Try that out. Just say yes to that story, that limitation. And could you say yes to it even more? And could you say yes to it even more? And could you say yes to it even more? Could you say yes to it even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And could you give it some love? Just love it. Could you love it a little bit more? For no reason. Just because. Love is positive. And positive doesn't hurt anything. Could you give it some love and approval? Maybe your mind is saying, well, if I love it, then I'm going to give it power. I'm going to make it real. No. Because you've proven otherwise. You've proven that the disapproval, the hate, is what makes it real. Because it doesn't change. It doesn't go anywhere. So just try it out. Could you love it? And could you love it some more? And could you love it some more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And while you're at it, take a look to see if you've been disapproving of yourself. Maybe you've been judging yourself. You missed an opportunity in the past, or you weren't serious about it, so you didn't develop the skills that you think you should have now, and missed opportunities. How does that help you? See, never mind the past, you're here right now. And if you're busy beating yourself up right now, how does that help you? Could you let go disapproving of yourself? Could you let go disapproving of yourself a little bit more? And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. See if you feel a little bit lighter. That's all we're looking for. It's just a lighter feeling. It's showing us that we're moving in the right direction. Now, could you give yourself some love and approval? For no reason, just because. Could you give yourself some more love and approval? And some more. And even more. And even more. And could you give yourself even more love and approval? And even more. How does that feel? Pretty amazing, right? Now, take a look at that limitation. See if it's as real as it was a moment ago. See if it has less bite to it now. Notice a difference. So what does this tell you? Love is the answer. If you got a problem, love dissolves the problem. It doesn't bury it. It doesn't take it away just for a moment. It dissolves it permanently. So therefore, it's your responsibility now to be loving. This is how you knock out these obstacles that diffuse your goal. See, See, by practicing love, you can silence all of that negativity that's in your mind. Your mind. You're the owner, right? You're the one who's in charge. This is all your show. And with love, you can really act like it. You can show up and be the owner. Be an incredibly powerful influence on your world. Now you can feel the difference here. Keep doing this. And just notice what happens. So when you set goals now, instead of hit and miss, it'd be more hit, 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 maybe miss, hit, miss. But you'll notice things start working just from your shift in how you see things, because it's all your picture. And when you're coming from love, love is positive, love is perfection, love is limitlessness. Check it out. All right? So I want to tell me your conclusion in the comments below. Let me know if you see that these thoughts aren't real, and share what that means to you. Share what you're experiencing. I want to know what you're experiencing. See, this way we can share with each other and help each other grow. And if you like this, hit the like button. And if you want to be kept up to date with more stuff like this, hit the subscribe button. So, thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I'll see you soon.